Okay, folks, so we're going to call the meeting to order, 7 o'clock, and I'd like to ask if there are any additions to the agenda this evening. I did want to make a quick note that Councillor McCrory has relayed regrets for council roll call minutes, and that the item that he had added under other business for library funding, we'll defer that to the next meeting he attends. Any other changes or additions? I'd ask for a motion to approve the agenda as amended. Okay, thank you, Deputy Mayor. Do we have a seconder? Second. Seconded by Councillor Hart. All those in favor, please signify by saying yes.
Yes. Yes.
Any opposed? The agenda is approved as amended. We have 2 gallery presentations this evening. First up is Cape Breton University. Unsure if David, are you going to be doing a presentation? I also, I guess, I don't see Sarah here.
Well, Sarah's not here. Mr. Volpe is here, and Mr. your name again is
Steve Horn.
Well, I hope one of you are going to do Sarah justice in her absence. So, yes. By all means, the podium is yours. Over to you. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you so much, members of council, and I want to thank you for the opportunity to make a brief presentation here tonight on the university, where we are and where we're going. But before I begin, I'd like to take a moment just to acknowledge the passing of Billy Joe McLean. I had the privilege of working closely with Billy Joe during my time in public life, which I think was over 18 years, and his dedication to this community was truly exceptional, and his legacy will not be forgotten. I have many stories, but I won't share them with you tonight. The ups and downs of Billy Joe in terms of his advocacy for this particular community. So as I indicated, I'm joined by 2 of my colleagues, and they will be assisting me with the presentation here tonight. This marks the 4th time that I have been before a municipality, including Inverness, CBRM, and Richmond County just last week, and we have plans to be before Victoria County fairly soon. But before I dive into the meat of my presentation, I invite you to watch a short video that I think captures the legacy and the transformative role of Cape Breton University over the last 50 years. So as you've just seen, Cape Breton University is not just an academic institution. It is a catalyst for innovation, economic growth, and social progress in our region. So for the benefit of those that are in attendance, here's a snapshot of some of our most significant milestones over the last number of years. In partnership with Dalhousie University, we've launched a new medical campus, training future doctors right here in Cape Breton. This effort addresses rural Nova Scotia's critical shortage of healthcare professionals. Our research into this subject matter was exhaustive. From Great Britain to Australia, parts of Canada, and elsewhere, even in the United States, we have determined that the best approach to address the concerns of doctors in rural Nova Scotia is to get those smart kids from rural Nova Scotia to apply to med school at CBU. You don't have much of a chance if you're a kid from Etobicoke in downtown Toronto that you're going to go to Port Hawkesbury to do your residency or open medical practice. But if you've got a couple of kids from Port Hawkesbury who are going to CBU Med School, the prospect of them relocating back here goes from about 7% to close to 9%. So that's what we have done with the med school. We put $12.4 million investment from Research Nova Scotia. Our Homeward Bound project is advancing healthcare, housing, and social supports for aging populations. Through our World Tourism Institute and the Community Engagement Van program, a combined $5 million investment, CBU is developing the skilled workforce needed to power one of Cape Breton's most vital industries. And as some of you may recall, the vans take our students from the university to all various parts of the island. That has been an enormous success on two accounts. Yes, it helps small business people meet their needs, but what it's done to the kids on those journeys is that they've heard of the Bredor Lakes. They've heard of the great beauty of Cape Breton, but now they're actually seeing it. And because of the long-standing traditions here in Cape Breton, the friendliness of the business operators and the staff has made them feel very, very welcome here in Cape Breton. We've transformed the Canada Games complex into the Kehoe Forum, honoring Jim and the late Roma Kehoe. It is a national hub for female hockey, the first, I might add, the first in Canada, along with a fitness center, a walking track, health and counseling center, and a convocation and small conference center. In conjunction with the Nova Scotia Health, our collaborative care clinic in the former Nova Scotia Community College Marconi campus will be a 10,000-person community healthcare clinic, providing access to critical services for residents across Cape Breton. Since 2018, we have invested more than $47 million to modernize our facilities, with more to come. There was a period of 15 years that we might have anywhere between $50,000 and $175,000 for the purposes of modernizing our facilities. So in the last number of years, the money that we did make, we threw it back into the university. And soon we'll be announcing a new campus childcare center, which for me I think is rather telling. Today, we have 35 spaces. In less than 3 months, we'll have 106 spaces for little ones, for faculty and staff, as well as some students who have a child with them. They'll have a place in a first-class childcare facility. With all this momentum, we're also navigating significant challenges, and I think I would be amiss if I didn't share those with you. Government funding cuts have forced difficult decisions, impacting not just our institution, but the broader community. The federal policy changes of 2024 dramatically reduced international student enrollment, costing us a decrease of over 3,200 students. That's a tough one. As a result, we're in a series of cutbacks, term employees, what have you. Canada was once the world's leading destination for international students, has now slipped from #1 to 5th place. An alarming shift with the real consequences for our economy, our workforce, as I'm sure you can understand. International students are not a burden. They are the future entrepreneurs, healthcare providers, and community builders. And I, as the president of the university, will continue to advocate for their vital contributions to Cape Breton's future. To position CBU for its next 50 years, we've launched the Forever CBU Capital Campaign, an ambitious $205 million initiative. And I'm proud to report that we're doing very well and being well over halfway there. The campaign is funding transformational projects. I mentioned the Keogh Forum is the first arena in Canada to be dedicated to female hockey, a $38 million investment in sport, leadership, and community. The Nancy Dingwall Health and Counseling Center will expand healthcare access for students and the broader community. New partnerships and programming, including with Acadia University, are strengthening our healthcare education and expanding our nursing seats to 161. Phenomenal growth. In just a couple of weeks, we will graduate the first cohort of our new Bachelor of Social Work program. Later this year, we will break ground on the $140 million Center for Discovery and Innovation. This will be the centerpiece of the university, a state-of-the-art science facility that will house the Marshall Legacy Center, honoring Donald Marshall. Our new medical campus, in collaboration with Dalhousie, is a game changer. Training doctors committed to rural Nova Scotia, enforcing a return to service clause to keep graduates practicing in our rural Nova Scotia communities. That was quite a discussion point with the government of Nova Scotia. But they signed on for it, as well as Dal and others. Preparing students for real-world collaborative care environments is absolutely essential. Delivering culturally safe healthcare, particularly for Indigenous and African Nova Scotian populations. So my friend, CBU is one of the most modern, collaborative, and future-ready campuses in Canada, and we intend to stay that way for quite some time. The town of Port Hawkesbury and its citizens have always been valued partners. So tonight, we seek to deepen that partnership. So I respectfully ask the Port Hawkesbury Council to support the Forever CBU campaign with a contribution of $20,000, roughly $5 per person. Your investment will directly support the projects that build a stronger, healthier, and more prosperous Cape Breton for generations to come. So together we can ensure that CBU remains not just a university, but a powerhouse for the entire region. So Madam Mayor, that concludes my presentation, but I'd be open to questions if there are any.
Sure, thank you very much. Any questions from council?
Okay, the medical side of how far along is that school from opening, or is?
Well, it's very, very close. We were hoping to have it open by August, but there was a fella south of the border, I forget his name, who put some tariffs on different parts such as steel, etc., has dragged it out a little. But we will have the first class beginning at CBU in August. The building should be fully completed by the end of August, but we've made arrangements on the campus for the 30 medical students to take their first term there. So I would say by the end of October, we should be ready.
Any other questions?
I just have a curiosity. How did you weed out and accept students for this particular program? Like, did they just apply, or were they applicants of other universities? How did that?
No, we advertised quite extensively. I think there's roughly, I may be off 50 or 60, but there's roughly 800, 900 students that apply annually to medical school, particularly in Dal. And our particular focus is rural medicine. That's where the need is. As a result, we were overwhelmed with the number of applicants that came from rural Nova Scotia. In the Valley, Bridgewater, Port Hawkesbury, Inverness, Glace Bay, Sydney, all over the island, but all over Nova Scotia. So there's a good number of young people that want to pursue medicine and want to go back to the communities in which they've come from. So that's really encouraging, really encouraging.
So I don't know if you're aware, but Dr. Paul is actually a first cousin of mine.
Really?
Yeah, my mom and his dad are, my mom and his dad are brother and sister.
Small world.
Yeah.
Any questions, Deputy Mayor?
Your Worship, if I may speak freely to Mr. Dingwall,
Absolutely.
thank you for your presentation. And CBU is an economic driver for Cape Breton, and welcome to our chambers. Industrial Cape Breton down here. Mr. Dingwall, would you say that a reverse of federal immigration policy would be something that you would be in favor of for your operations, for attracting students, and then your balance sheet, your ambitions?
Put that question to the side. I'm absolutely in favor of more immigration to Canada.
Yes.
Without more immigration to Canada, we will fail as a society.
Agreed.
Big time.
Agreed.
In the Atlantic, where it is particularly profound, Cape Breton being one of those areas, without additional immigration, our communities will die. There's a professor at the University of New Brunswick who wrote a book about 4 years ago, and he talked about the gutting of Atlantic Canada because they don't have people. And we're just on the cusp of gaining people when the feds came in with a new rule that terminated it. And the rule and the policy of the government of the day was to address the concerns that were happening in Ontario. There's 2 places in Ontario that had an overabundance of international students. And as a result, instead of being surgical about it, they hit it with a big hammer and affected us all. So all universities across the country are suffering as a result of that policy. And I'm hoping we have a proposal, a number of universities, to try to address this if we get the ear of the federal minister and the prime minister. So yes.
Do you think it would help reverse that policy if there was an increased housing stock in Canada, but in Cape Breton in particular?
I think so. I think housing is an issue. I don't think it's the only issue. I think it is an issue. But let me give you a for instance. At CBU, during the height of the so-called storm as it relates to housing, we had a 22% vacancy rate. Kids didn't want to go to university, didn't want to go into residence. And when you're telling students who are 23, 24, 25 years of age, don't come to the university unless you land your housing and they show up on your shores, it's difficult. But to address your earlier question, yes, more housing is needed, but it's not going to be 5-star. They're not going to be living in the life of luxury. When I went to university, we had, well, that's, I know now, it's a long time ago. But when I went to university, we had 7 people in our apartment. Now, we were ducking the superintendent because you weren't allowed to have 7 people, but just to try to cut on our costs. So we're addressing that. The Tartan Downs is a big answer for that. The university has opened up 138 new spaces, and we're trying to bend that vacancy rate in order to accommodate other students. So the short answer is yes, more housing options, and I think that will serve us all much better.
You've got an ambitious table there of, you know, from the VAN program, the Kehoe Center, the CBU Children's Center, and the list goes on. And they're big ticket items, and that's fantastic. And I'm sure you'll succeed, and you're at 100, over halfway with 205 million target. So you'll get there for sure. Do you see the rail commuter feasibility study as something that will, and if it shows that it's viable and feasible, is that a good focus of direction, or should it be focused more on housing, do you think?
Well, I wouldn't get into the game, we're going to do this, we're not going to do that, we'll do this, won't do that. I don't want to play that game. I think housing is very, very important. I think travel throughout Cape Breton is absolutely essential. We did this study, it's viable.
It's viable.
Yeah.
It's viable.
It's viable. It will take a while in order to sensitize people to getting on a train. The train will not last unless there's a couple of principles at play. The first one is, it's got to operate on time, just like they do in Belgium, other parts of Europe. If it's 17 minutes, it's 17 minutes. It's not 22 minutes. So people can have some consistency in getting on and getting off. The second thing, and you're going to be surprised at this one, the second thing about the computer train system is security. Because you don't want, we're going to have, in the first phase, we're going to have 5 stops along the line, you know, and they're going to have their own places for holding people getting on, getting off. But you've got to be very careful with that. You don't want a bunch of people sleeping in the train station. You don't want a bunch of people that are going to be looking at elderly people and trying to take advantage of them. So security is very, very, very important. How do we know that? Because it happens. It happens in Alberta. It happens in other countries, the security, which I didn't think was a big issue. But when I saw the figures, yeah, you're going to have your, you know, your photographs, et cetera, watching people coming in and coming out. So I think that is an important element for economic development.
Interesting. Two quick.
This is good, I like this.
Go ahead.
You were given 610,000 from the province for the feasibility study, and as I read in the media, and 125 of that was earmarked to hire a firm to source further federal funding. Is that going successfully?
It is. Is this playing in the media right now?
Or just it's going successfully?
It's going successful, but you know, when people thought of the train system, they thought the expenditure would be a minimum of $750 million.
Wow.
So we did our study. We made compensation for cost overruns of about 25 million. The whole project came in less than 142 million. Why? Because of the existing track that is already there from the coal industry. which is as good as new. The line from, say for instance, New Waterford to Seaview is up and running. The first phase will be from Sydney River all the way through to Sydney, to the Walmart, and then to the university. The next phase, which would be phase 2, would be the university to Glace Bay. That will be a little bit more costly because they ripped up a good portion of the track. But I think we should be looking beyond Industrial Cape Breton. I think there's other parts of the island that should be looking at it as well.
Thank you. You're asking for $20,000 or $5 per head. Our population does not up to the point where it'd be $20,000, $5 a head. We're trying to grow, so hopefully we can get there.
Well, just to leave you with this thought, from time to time, because of past sins on my part, I'm asked for my view as to what's happening with economic development. And I can tell you that some of the power brokers, both in governments and in the private sector, are looking at Port Hawkesbury as a real opportunity for the province to expand economic development in this particular region. Whether you talk to David McGregor, which I'm sure you've spoken to many times, or as well as other members of the private sector. This area of the province, I think you're going to see an uplift in economic activity, and I don't think it's going to take too long. I mean, Port Hawkesbury has a great reputation, and it just needs a break. And I think with that will come a lot of economic activity.
Okay, thank you, Deputy Mayor. And I just wanted to echo Council's gratitude for your presentation. We will take your request into consideration and have a discussion. And you caught us just on the cusp of budget discussions. So anyway, so thank you very much and stay home.
Before I close, I want to thank you, Mayor, for your cooperation and your support and your support for economic activity across the island. That's pretty important. Our deliberations with the CBRM, our deliberations with Richmond County and elsewhere has generated some positive responses to our requests. So I leave that with you. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
And Rochelle, are you doing it?
Now we're going to service.
Okay.
Might be leaving.
Thank you so much. Take care.
Should we wait for Erin to come back?
No, it's okay.
Give her.
Okay, so I am here to report on Q4, which was January to March. It is a hefty one, so it's a nice thick booklet full of good things and good details. So I will do my best to keep it under 15, or around that. So as usual, the first page acknowledges the CB-REN board and the CB-REN liaison oversight committee. There were some changes, so feel free to peruse through there, and you may see some new names and recognize some new ones as well. On the second page, so as I mentioned, the reporting period is January 1st to March 31st. Some of our highlights were our response to a statement on the U.S. tariffs, and as well as the launch of the Strait of Canso Sustainable Infrastructure Strategy. As well as one of my colleagues went to France for Le Marché International de Professionnels de l'Immobilier, which is essentially a real estate professionals and economic development organization that Jeremy went to promote our regions. So to get into the nitty-gritty, a couple of updates from the economic development side. So I attended quite a few events and conferences, as well as associations and committees through those couple of months. So Cross-Sectoral Housing Summit in Halifax, the Sea Farmers Conference in Halifax, Everwood Special Announcement event, Center for Women in Business Networking event, the State of the Strait Business Update, and Green Future Summit. Association and Committees, Richmond County Collaborative Network, Everwind Community Liaison Committee, Growing for Hawkesbury Committee, Richmond Multi-Use Facility Community Engagement Sessions, St. Peter's Economic Development Organization meeting, and the Straight Richmond Housing Matters Coalition meeting. I've spoken before about the Activate program, so in those 3 months I successfully completed the program, and myself, along with Jacqueline Giroir from the CDN and Danielle Martel from Richmond County, hosted a session that we called Activate Richmond. It was with the food industry in Richmond County in order to just bring individuals together to try to work through some of the problems that they might face in the upcoming busy season. So it's a great collaborative session that we were able to have. In Richmond County, we're exploring an agriculture development area. So in order to do that, I met with Michelle Theriault, the biologist at St. Anne Marine Research Center in Pettigrew. We had a great meeting with her and we got to see the facility. And along with that, I went to the Sea Farmers Conference in Halifax to gain further knowledge and understanding on that industry as well. So still a project that we're exploring in Richmond County. Some client support and engagement. So throughout the quarter, I supported a range of clients exploring new business opportunities, expansions, and investments. And so those are both in Richmond County and for Hawkesbury. We are the first point of contact for a lot of individuals looking to set up shop. And so we get to meet a lot of interesting people and help work through some of their issues and encourage them to do business in the area. The Ocean Innovation Center, we continue to try to identify what the best market for this place is. We've shown it to a couple of different individuals who have come to the area to promote it and showcase it. And we're working on a website to further that promotion as well. We're continuing to work on developer resources. So 2 packages, one being one that's already been drafted by Jason, a package that really showcases and entices individuals to want to come do business here. And so that's going really well and is going to be brought to the Growing for Hawkesbury Committee for another review. And so we're also working with EDPC to kind of streamline their process and make sure that all of our EDOs have a very clear picture of what their best process is and how to best help any individual that comes to us with those types of questions, to make sure we're equipped with the right information to give back to them. The Straight Up Canso website continues to thrive, so we're moved on to phase 2, which is going to include a really cool interactive map highlighting the port profiles and industry-specific content to better showcase the region's assets and attract investment. We've also launched the Business Insights program, which we worked quite hard on, and it was released April 1st. And so the goals of the program are to assess the needs of businesses, provide assistance to businesses to help them navigate through economic difficulties, provide guidance and support, and build cooperation and consensus. And so each EDO and other colleagues from our team are going to go out and have conversations with business to gather information so we can identify some of the gaps and challenges, but also identify what's working and so that we can share that information with the community and make better informed decisions going forward. We were also approved for the CanExport Community Initiative, and so we are working on a foreign direct investment strategy that will span over 3 years. So we prepared an RFP to put out to consultants, and so we're looking to work directly with them and build a 3-year foreign direct investment strategy. So if you guys have any pieces that you'd like to add to that, we're happy to hear that out. So that's it for me in those 3 months. We have a great whole other team that works diligently. And so we have Jen McNeil for the Green Energy Engagement Program. And she was quite busy as well. So she is on the Electricity Sector Climate Change Adaptation Implementation Team. And so mostly anything in the green energy sector is quite heavy and lengthy. So she participated in the community of practice to collaborate on a knowledge hub for climate adaptation in the electricity sector in Nova Scotia. She also completed Canada's Ocean Supercluster Ocean Artificial Intelligence and Technology Foundations course. So she's exploring the blue economy, which will be excellent for our Ocean Innovation Center collaboration. She also met with the KMNKO to discuss opportunities to collaborate on Indigenous engagement for energy transition. And so the partnership is sponsoring the Community Connection Symposium that is happening in the next couple of days in Toronto. She also participated in the Net Zero Atlantic Ports study and worked collaboratively on the Department of Natural Resources to identify activities to be undertaken by the Green Energy Engagement Program. and they secured $47,000 to hire a summer student. So Jenna's going to be working on that. She worked on the development of ocean technical capacity with African nations, women, and youth technical capacity. And she attended the Green Futures Summit, as well as participated in the State of the District. Our Creative Economy Development Officer in those 3 months as well did a bit of an island tour to elaborate and educate individuals on the creative economy in Cape Breton. So that was very exciting. That was March 25th to 27th, and it was an island ride roadshow. And it was sold out. There were over 250 people who were able to learn and connect with industry personnel that Bill was able to bring with him. So that was very successful. In Port Hawkesbury, there was the Cabin Fever concert series and the Creative Careers Symposium, which he's working on to be developed and delivered at the Dalbright Academy. We also have our People and Labor Force Attraction department. And so our Immigration Advisory Services, there were 5 individuals that received immigration-related support and 11 active immigration advisory files in Port Hawkesbury. There was lots of community engagement. We participated at the service fair and we held a career fair as well and attended the career fair at CBU. Then we have our Cape Breton Local Immigration Partnership, the CBLIP. So in Q4, they continue to work and members engaged in the development of a new theory of change for the CBLIP, as well as new representatives were welcomed to the council. The CBLIP program manager attended the National Metropolitan Conference in March, and under the guidance of the CBLIP Mi'kmaq Advisory Committee, the CBLIP continues to deepen its work and build stronger connections with newcomers and Mi'kmaq relationships. We have our Cape Breton Welcome Network, who also did quite a bit of outreach in those couple of months, and created the Buddy program. So in preparation for the upcoming changes to the Welcome Network, the Buddy program took place. So this includes refining intake forms and advancing branding work for the launch in this quarter of 2025. The Connector program participated in the Newcomer Film Project, where the Connector program coordinator was interviewed about the newcomer experience and the importance of networking. The program was also featured in the final film. The Connector program also delivered a resume workshop, facilitated the Understanding Culture workshop, and led a virtual networking workshop in partnership with Adunova and Halifax Partnership, as well as hosted a Coffee and Connect here in Port Hawkesbury. For labor market support, there are currently 15 Port Hawkesbury employers registered with the Cape Breton Job Board and 12 new posts in Q4. So at the time, we had a couple of upcoming events. So we held a job series April 1st to 14th, and the 2025 Safety Symposium happened last week in Member 2. And then we have the Community Connection Symposium that's happening over the next couple of days. So if you continue in the report, there is a metrics section, and so that just identifies in quantitative feature a lot of the projects that we were able to work on in different types of categories. So all the clients that we are able to help, it just provides some quantitative reflection. I know that was a big one. It was a couple of busy months, but it was very good and it was a great way to start the year. So, any questions?
First and foremost, thank you for your presentation.
Thank you.
Right, that.
Yeah.
A lot of amazing updates as well. Just quickly, just on the immigration support, I imagine my fellow councillors have been contacted about immigration support. Be great to have contact at the ready that we can pass on.
Awesome.
And yeah,
Yeah.
it was just in the notes. It just has stats, but if there's some contact information you can pass on, and I can circulate it to council.
Yeah.
I get asked every time, and I'm sure Tyler's tired of me texting him every time.
Yeah. No, I will also do that. I'll make a note of that.
That's fantastic. But I'll open up the floor for any questions. over to you, Councillor.
No, it's, thanks for the presentation. It's been busy.
Yes.
But it does have the feeling with the area that we're on the verge of moving to another level and with some development, for sure.
Our team is very busy. It seems to be ramping up, definitely not slowing down, so, which is great. You know, and it comes with a lot of challenges, but challenges means that things are moving. So
Exactly.
that's very important.
Fantastic.
Rochelle, in case this is your last presentation, it's been a pleasure working with you. And, we're only a few months in, we got working together on a few files together, yourself and Councillor Barrett and I on Grow Port Hawkesbury, and we appreciate your efforts.
Thank you.
And we wish you all the best in your future endeavors. Thank you for your report.
Yeah, to provide context, I am here, in the capacity that I'm in until May 30th. And then we will sit down and have a chat and see where it goes after that. So I may be here again, you know. Can't seem to get rid of me. So.
Anybody that would be mad about it.
But I will send that email with that contact information.
Fantastic. Again, thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. So we'll move on now to council reports on assigned committees. We'll start with Deputy Mayor. Over to you.
Okay, yeah. Got some head scratch here somewhere. Okay, May 6th, I attended with some fellow councillors a budget planning session. On the 8th of May, Teams online meeting with yourself and Martin Thompson on the green energy file on a letter for overseas. On May 9th, a weekly call from interested industrial developer in the Port Hawkesbury area. On the 13th, attended Strait of Canso Offshore Wind Task Force meeting online virtually. On the 14th of May, worked on letters for the transition for duties for the MPs as per last motion from last council meeting. On the 15th, I joined staff in a Landry Lake water utility meeting. And on the 16th, another weekly call with the same developer on interest in Port Hawkesbury.
Perfect, thank you so much. So we'll move over to Councillor Hurd.
Just leading off from our dates, April 15th was budget meeting. It was a busy afternoon. We had a meeting with the Yacht Club, the Police Advisory Committee meeting. Todd and I traveled to Port Hood between meetings and then back for Committee of the Whole. May 6th was another budget meeting. May 7th was Community Development meeting. May 9th was a straight area transit meeting. And May 13th was Alcohol Forum, which basically, if I can just elaborate a bit more, was policies are not seen as punishment, but preventative measures. Like, for example, we have speed limits to keep our roads safe. Policies are less about control and more about balance. We might look at policies as limiting sales, certain hours, supporting sober community events, creating more awareness, not banning or shaming anyone, just creating safer, more respectful places where people can connect without harm. It's challenging to do this without creating division and being respectful to others' lifestyles while protecting the more vulnerable. It affects us all. So very interesting forum. It was really nice to attend. And that is my report.
Thank you, Councillor Hurd. Councillor Baird.
April 29th, attended the Sports Wall of Fame meeting. May 6th, attended the budget meeting. May 7th, chaired the Growing Port Hawkesbury committee meeting. May 13th, I attended that, was online for that Nova Scotia Health Alcohol Policy Forum that Councillor Hart attended as well. May 15th, had At Home Housing Association Steering Committee meeting as well.
Thank you so much. Because Deputy Mayor Langley chaired the last Committee of the Whole, I had to kind of double down on my report. So just, I guess in the spirit of not declaring redundant meetings, I did attend meetings in some capacity. with all three of you in in different areas. So I'll just highlight a few meetings that I guess you weren't in the room for, just for your information. And I'll also give this to Melissa to circulate as well for your review. So the task force meetings, of course, I've attended, and I think everybody already has the budget meetings well covered. We all had fun with Erin multiple times over the last 2.5, 3 months, so I'm sure she'll be tired of running meetings soon for budget. So of course, Alan J. McCacken Airport meeting on the 10th. On April 11th, I had the pleasure of participating in the Texploration at NSCC. There was probably close to 100 girls in the room who are exploring math, sciences, technologies, and certainly defying the gender norms in terms of technology and trades. So it was a great opportunity to spend some time with those youth. Lots of idea committee meetings. We've really been buckling down. Our staff support is Gordy Stunk. We've been meeting almost weekly for the past, I don't know, several months anyway, the last couple of months. And Gordy a little bit later will be giving you a brief overview of the progress we've made to date. We're late getting our idea plan into the province, so we're trying to double down to make sure that we get it done as soon as we possibly can. Deputy Mayor did touch on some developer meetings that I was also in attendance, as well as some meetings with regard to the Port of Antwerp-Bruges, and that work is in the capacity of the Strait Area Chiefs, Mayors and Wardens. And of course, lots of meetings with the NSFM and the AMA. I sit on the AMA as a representative from the NSFM. Also attended the spring conference for the NSFM as well. And during the conference, managed to sneak in a Strait Area Green Hydrogen meeting. And Terry, you attended that one as well. And Councillor Barrett and I had the opportunity to have dinner with Terry Smith from the Cape Breton Development, Destination Cape Breton Association, as well as with our town rep, Paula Davis. And of course, attended the Growing Port Hawkesbury meetings. And also on May 14th, I was able to attend an RCMP retreat being hosted at Friends United in Cleveland. I was invited to give a welcome and a bit of a speech on leadership, so that was really interesting, followed by the Housing Summit to help inform our new housing not-for-profit that same day. And that concludes my report, but I also wanted to quickly mention that I've been probably about 3/4 of the way through spending a total of 80 hours with Miley Hanley, who's our grade 11 CEREC student. She's shadowing the office of the mayor, and I feel like I'm learning more from her than she's learning from me. So one idea that she is spearheading is later in June, I think it's the second week of June. She's planning to have a little afternoon tour and roundtable discussion with the sociology class in her grade. We're going to seek their help in determining how can we get more youth interested and engaged with local government and interested in municipal government. So that is something that I will certainly give you all a heads up if you want to come and help host some roundtable discussions with some really interested young young adults. Hopefully we can mold some minds, and maybe we're keeping the seats warm for some of them who eventually will come up hopefully and be interested in municipal government. And that concludes my report. Is there anything else anybody wants to add? Okay, we'll move on over to the CAO reports for you, Terry.
Yeah, thank you, Your Worship. So given the two presentations, two public presentations, plus there's a presentation on the IDEA report and presentation on our budget, which is months of work coming forward in presentation for your consideration. We're not going to do a formal presentation of our reports. You have written reports given to you. Just highlight a few things that our senior staff had asked to pass on. Granville Green lineup is going to be reviewed on the 30th, so we're getting excited about that concert series coming. Along with all the other things, this building is an extremely busy building. Hopefully you got a place to park, but probably not.
I love it.
So yeah, so parking, not parking is a really good thing for council. The Dan Willey McDonald Field, that's a big project. That's a $1 million project that's coming to fruition now. So we had some work that's been held over the spring. We have our electrical inspection is complete. You'll see people removing sort of the soil, and we have dugout concrete in place right now. We have asphalt going down this week. There's a whole bunch of things that drainage issues on the infield, resurfacing the infield and changing drainage patterns. So a ton of work happening on the field, and we're going to see that finishing up fairly soon. We're trying to do whatever we can to make that work. Weather is very difficult when you're, especially on sports fields, just because you can do a lot of damage with machines on grass. A lot more damage than good if you do it too soon. So anyway, that's coming along. We talked about the safety program a little bit at the last committee of whole. Jason McMillan has a presentation on the safety program improvements, and there's policy and procedure guidelines that are involved in that we're going to be doing that portion, not here, but at our next bylaw and policy meeting. That will work well there. Just on the public works side, Tamarack, the trail that was originally our first part of AT Trail, which was deferred, that's been awarded now, and there's work ongoing on that. It's been awarded to local contractor Norvon Construction, which is great. And our public works building is coming. It's really it's coming to an end. Construction's coming to an end. So that's coming along great. Still a lot of construction. You see the streets are very busy. We have Pine Ridge Drive deficiencies happening there. Deficiencies just completed on our sidewalk project. So tons of work there. Our biggest project is our improvements to our water system upgrades, and we're getting a lot of comments on our water tower coming up there. So there's a coordinated effort to finish that project off. Again, a lot of weather constraints. We've had a lot of wind in Port Hawkesbury this winter and spring, so in cold weather conditions, which didn't allow us to finish that off. So those projects are moving along well. And that's sort of the quick summary of reports, and we'll take any questions, and we have directors here that are more than willing to answer questions too on that.
So it's just of council, any questions with regard to any reports this evening?
In terms of Pine Ridge, they were fixing that up. Are they done, or are they still working?
So
Today they were there.
yes. So through Chair, the work, there's deficiency work that's still ongoing there. So part of that was some of the pavement that you saw going down today, but there's still other work to complete. There's some work that's associated with the road as well. That's gonna have to wait until we get some milling and paving on that. That's another project with some coordination. There's a drainage issue that we have to deal with there, so there will be some work occurring there over the next few months. Madam Chair, there's just one other thing that, and these have been great reports as usual. There's a really good summary on trails usage as well. That's really interesting. Just wanted to bring, I thought we should bring this to light. Whoops. We put these at the end, sorry.
Like you're already committed, so just.
Yeah. I thought this was at the end of our report.
Oh, thank you.
We had a community cleanup effort by the Filipino Society on the weekend. So 20 folks from our community came out and just did a phenomenal job on 2 of our streets. And really, I thought it should be recognized. We haven't been overly successful with our cleanup programs, and this has been a real shot in the arm. And they're dedicated and to coming out again to doing 2 more streets for us. So just wanted to bring that to people's attention. It was a wonderful thing for many, many reasons.
Yeah, definitely. Is there any ideas
Worship, they do have, as we all know, a formal organization, Street Area Affiliate. I think a letter of acknowledgement would be appropriate at a minimum.
Absolutely.
That's just my thoughts.
Absolutely.
And what a wonderful example of what we spoke about earlier about immigration and the positive impact
Absolutely.
that community's done for Port Hawkesbury.
100%.
And to the greater community spirit, you know?
Absolutely. Just, can they throw in like dance routines on top of
So I don't know if that letter is no, sorry.
Yes, would you like to make a motion?
Well, unless there's something else that, another idea.
That's a great idea.
You
I
know,
think it's a great idea as well.
Well, if there's time for a motion, then
We'll ratify it in our public meeting, but we can definitely reach a consensus to have a letter sent. Everybody is in agreement?
Definitely.
I think that's a great idea. Wow. It's very
Yeah,
inspiring.
through your worship, they were just recognizing how thankful they were for the community accepting them, and that's their thanks to us. So it was,
We're the grateful.
yes, I
But
agree.
it's very, very humbling and inspiring.
Thanks to Ricky for
Thank
organizing
you.
it.
That was worth going through your slide solitary to find to find the right thing.
That's one way to put it.
All right. Is there anything else that you have, Terry?
No, that's it. Let's move on to budget.
All right. Let's.
before we go over the budget, I just have, Your Worship, just one question for the CEO on Pine Ridge. I was reminded by Councillor Hart's question on the maintenance. On the 12th, we have received a outreach from a citizen, and they had issues with that. Is there a timeline for the completion of the work that you spoke of on Pine Ridge?
It should be completed over the next 2 weeks. So that's what's scheduled.
Okay.
But things can happen and
Yeah.
crews can move to other areas, but that's our hope right now.
Yeah, okay. So contract issue, money is there, and the contract is 2 weeks, so we can pass that on to residents who are.
Absolutely, yes.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Budget.
Slides, that's a new one. So looking to present in a somewhat compact manner, kind of the deliberations over the last number of months around the 2025-2026 operating capital plan for the town of Hawkesbury. And it's hard to talk about budget without talking about assessment. I believe about 67% of our budget or revenues come from assessments, another 10% from grants in lieu, which are also based on assessment. So assessment is a very important part of municipal government. So yeah, just looking at, we did have some growth within our commercial assessment, 5% over last year. On the residential side, 7.1% over last year, which is consistent with some growth we've been seeing nationally and internationally around property values. So that's positive to see. The story is still the same. You know, over time, over a 12-year period, we've had a 31% increase in residential assessment. So about 2.6 per year on average. So we've been kind of picking up a little bit of kind of flat assessment we've had over about a 10-year period in the last couple of years. And on commercial assessment, we're 12% over 12 years, so on average about 1% a year. So very minimal growth on the commercial, but nice to see those increases in the last couple of years. The budget that was provided to council and that we've been deliberating is a balanced budget, which is positive. $9.49 million in revenues, and as I mentioned, majority of our municipal revenues come from our property taxes, which are based on assessments, so 67%, and grants in lieu are another 10%, so 77% come from our assessments. The balance comes from leachate treatment, our aquatics, our facilities here, our rentals, but the majority of our revenues in that $9.49 million does come from assessments. Again, balanced budget, which is good to see. That's what you want. $9.49 million in expenses. Fire protective services, which include fire protection and our policing services, are our largest expenditure. General government services are administrative offices, 17%, public works, 13%, and then various other expenses, which we've gone through in detail through the budgetary process. So again, $9.49 million is the expenditure, total expenditures for it. Hard to talk about a budget without talking about tax rates. So we generate in this plan $6.35 million in tax revenues. That's exclusive of the grants in lieu. So this is from taxable properties, which is made up of, this is with a stable tax rate. So no change to the tax rate over prior year and over a number of years. So $1.58 is our residential rate, $4.16 is our commercial rate, and we have a sewer service charge of 22 cents. I always bring this up, but our rate, all-in residential tax rate, which includes our sewer rate, remains at $1.80 for a residential, and that is the same rate it was in 1987, which is kind of interesting. On the capital side, so within your plan, we have an $8.5 million capital plan, which a lot of that is previously committed projects, and Terry touched on those kind of through discussions around public works. So some of those continuing projects that continued over prior years. So $6.26 million in previously approved projects or projects that were ongoing prior to the 25-26 year. But we have added on $2.24 million in projects this year. Metrics around this capital plan. This capital plan replaces 25% of our consolidated net capital assets. So the value of the assets that we have in our consolidated financial statements of 2024, which is our last audited financial statement, this capital plan replaces 25% of that. So it's a good percentage improvement. The funding, $2.84 million of the $8.5 million plan is coming from reserves. But the projects are leveraged at 53%. So, the money that we are taking out of reserve, we are leveraging that at, on average, 53%, which is a really positive, for every dollar we spend, 53 cents of that comes from somewhere else. So that's something we like to see and something we like to track. Around the capital, just some highlights on this, and this is not an exhaustive list of capital projects, but just some highlights so the public and listeners have a flavor, and council remembers the items that are within our capital plan. So a continuation of that vital water distribution system upgrade, so $1.75 million is included in, which includes that lovely new water tower with the pretty logo.
It's very pretty.
Also, and this is in our operating plan, but we are using some reserve funds for it. The Municipal Innovation Project, it's a project where we put forward to do with Inverness County on our water wastewater capacity. So that's really kind of building for future growth and understanding our system and modeling our system so that we're prepared and able to answer questions. And that system provides service to Inverness County as well. So we're partnering on that with them, and hopefully we'll see some provincial funding to offset that. Some continued investment in our rehabilitation of roadways. So we're putting $400,000 into asphalt rehabilitation, which is approximately 5,000 square meters of rehabilitation. That's including some allowances. So depending on how that project goes and where the tender lands, there could be additional square meters of asphalt being included there, and we'll adjust as necessary moving forward. But that is based on the estimates we have now. That's where we feel we can replace. And we do also have a pretty significant operating amount for our own works to do patching. So that's continuing and sustained in the operating budget as well. Around fleet, so tandem replacement, the tandem we should be receiving that replacement in this current fiscal year. We're also replacing a service vehicle this year, which is in your plan. Completion of the Public Works facility rebuild is another large capital project that spans over a couple of years. So completion of that in this fiscal year. Some siding replacements and some, much needed efficiency upgrades at the fire hall is something we're completing within our facilities. A arena board rebuild in the Roxbury Civic Center, which also includes replacement of the end gates, which will help for, some removing those when required for other events that we hold within the facility. So it'll make things a bit more easier operationally, along with replacing our boards and some upgrades there within the arena, which are pretty exciting. Terry spoke of the Dan Willey Field and the lighting along with other field upgrades there. So continued renewal of that facility will occur in this fiscal year. And active transportation has been kind of a highlight in this community for a number of years, which are continuing within this capital plan. The Tamarack Trail, as Terry mentioned, is something that will be completed this year. Some additional connection along the waterfront within the Sunset Park, and continuing to plan for the remaining portion of the waterfront and the Reeve Street active transportation. As well, we are including an additional section of Pine Ridge for AT sidewalk in that area as well, which I think will be a good addition to that area. Yeah, so that's just kind of quick, high-level, concise update or kind of summary, I guess, of the plan that's in front of you. So just happy to entertain any questions if you have any at this point in time on the plan as presented.
Thank you, Erin. Any questions?
Great. And just, so no ratification at tonight's meeting where it's committee of whole. But I guess if council's in agreement and is comfortable with the plan that has been presented, this would be the motion that you will see presented to you at the June public meeting.
Is everybody comfortable with that moving forward to a public meeting? Everybody's good?
Thank you.
You're welcome. Community development.
So just terms of reference, update the terms of reference located on our second page. It's highlighted for you in number 3 in membership. To community development In terms of membership, add a youth member, age 15 to 22, currently living and attending school in the town of Port Hawkesbury. The term of youth members shall be 1 year, and youth members shall be reappointed by committee. So it's just a new addition to the terms. And I like them. Michelle, do you have anything to add to that? No?
No, it's pretty,
Straightforward?
pretty straightforward. Where the 15 to 22 comes from, so if you look at the Canada's youth strategy, it's actually, they define youth as age 15 to 30. But we really kind of had a lot of discussion around like school aged, and then we came up with 22 as, someone who would complete post-secondary in 4 years at NSCC for a 4-year program, so that's where we capped it up at 22.
Sounds good. Any questions from council? I think it's very positive adding the youth voice to the Community Development Committee. I think it's a phenomenal change. Does council feel comfortable moving that forward to our public meeting ratification? For good. Anything else? Any other changes, Paula?
No, that's the highlight we have.
Thank you for bringing that forward. Next item is an idea plan, and although my name is on the agenda, Gordy will be delivering the presentation.
Good evening, everyone. I'll show you your worship. Just a description of our semi-updated, which was accessibility plan. It's now going to be labeled our idea plan, which the acronym aligns with the addition of equity, inclusion, and diversity, along with accessibility into the plan. In 2017, the province was one of 3 at the time to develop an accessibility act. And they mandated municipalities or public prescribed sector bodies were mandated to develop a plan, which we did early in 2022 was our first plan. And we've been working through that plan to date, and it was up for renewal every 3 years. They have to be reviewed. So in April 1st of 2025, we're still working through it, but we're going to move forward with the new idea plan. So I'm sure you've spent some time over the long weekend looking through the idea plan in your package, but we'll go through it just to be short. So the committee is formally known as the Accessibility Advisory Committee. Just going to identify what IDEA stands for, key definitions. The plan is, of course, a 3-year term from 2025 to 2028 when it will be reviewed and updated again. And we're looking for council's, ultimately council's acceptance, but council's feedback also on the new IDEA plan. So our IDEA committee consists of 2 co-chairs. One is your worship, Mayor Chisholm, Mayor Brenda. Matthew Higgins is a co-chair. We have staff support from myself, CAO Terry Doyle, and Melissa Warren. From the community, we have Kathy Cook, Jade Hampson, Tiffany Coffin, and Karen Stephen. Through the new plan, we were also mandated to have a minimum of 50% representation from First Voice. So we will strive to carry that through with the addition of equity, diversity, and inclusion. So we'll probably be looking to add to our IDEA committee to support us on those other components. So IDEA is an acronym for, as you know, inclusion, diversity, equity, and accessibility. It's a framework to grow our town so everyone feels valued, respected, and has equal opportunities. It will help us plan information programs and environments that are welcoming, inclusive, and accessible to people of all backgrounds and abilities. Start with inclusion. It means equal access, equal opportunity, equal resources for those community members who may otherwise be excluded or marginalized within our town. Diversity would be the mindset and practice of acknowledging, including, and or involving people from diverse backgrounds. Visible diversity can include age, ethnicity, gender, physical abilities / qualities, and race. Invisible diversity can include sexual orientation, educational background, and work experience. Equity refers to fairness and justice, recognizing we must acknowledge and make adjustments to imbalances to be equitable to all. Of course, accessibility. In Nova Scotia, accessibility is defined as proactively ensuring everyone, including people with disabilities, has equal access to information, activities, and environments. This involves identifying and removing barriers in design, service, and policies to enable full participation in the community. So that brings us to our new idea plan. So our committee have identified important components needed to comprise the best idea plan for 2025 to 2028. What we've identified is the makeup and the new edition of the accessibility report card, idea research and community consultation, truth and reconciliation, and an idea portal. So our report card would be, we spent considerable time monitoring and assessing our town's 22 to 25 accessibility plan. We decided to create a report card to use as a compass for our new plan, our new idea plan, to outline accessibility, work completed, work in progress, and work that still requires planning initiation. So with our idea plan, it needs to be treated as a living document. It's going to be changing all the time. It's the plans, what we submit to council in the province is not going to be a final plan. It's going to be what we plan to carry out over the next 3 years, what we plan to get done. So we want to do research and consultation in the community so we can better understand the diverse nature of our town and how we can improve Port Hawkesbury using the IDEA framework. Some research options include surveys, social media posts, feedback, community workshops, and other engagement. So truth and reconciliation. We believe truth and reconciliation is a key component for a strong idea plan. Truly honoring the diverse nature of our community must include the First People in a meaningful and intentional way. Work with First Nation community members will be essential to exploring ongoing education and collaborative truth and reconciliation actions for Port Hawkesbury. And I will say, after meeting with the province last week, they have quite a few plans that have been submitted as of April 1st, and there's not a lot of them that are including truth and reconciliation. We are one. We will have an idea portal. A nimble portal mechanism to enable multi-directional communication is critical to our idea plan. Our committee will begin by using the town website and social media to discuss, promote, and receive ideas and concerns about inclusion, diversity, equity, and accessibility. The idea portal will be an important engine for our 2025 to 2028 plan. With that, our final thoughts would be Town of Port Hawkesbury, our 25 to 28 plan would include our accessibility report card, our research and community consultation, truth and reconciliation, and again, the idea portal. Our idea plan can be used as a framework to understand what is working, what isn't working, and to inform future action with the goal of being a town for everyone through the lens of inclusion, diversity, equity, and accessibility. And that brings just a note, this plan was supposed to be submitted by April 1st, so we are in non-compliance right now, which is not where we want to be, but we're certainly working diligently, including Her Worship, who I think spent most of the long weekend doing a review and another upgrade to this plan. We have been meeting with the province, and we have been in discussion with the province, so being in non-compliance is not where we want to be, but it's not, they certainly know that we're in the steps of making progress and having our plan submitted ASAP as soon as possible. So we do have another document that was prepared, I think, over the weekend. So that's what you'll be seeing from here on in. It's an upgraded draft of this proposal. After we met with the province last Friday, they gave us, and they've been good. They gave us a lot of support and ideas on how we can improve what we submitted to them for review before this meeting tonight. So Yeah, we are in non-compliance, but we're certainly on the way to having our plan submitted. So I don't know if you've seen, this is more or less the report or the document that would be the portal for the plan. Just a snapshot of what it would be, what it would contain, just what I just presented. And this is a snapshot of what the report card would look like. It's more or less, and this is an from the Accessibility Advisory Committee. The new one will include equity, diversity and inclusion. It just lists some projects that we put a priority to them over the last, 3 or 4 years. What we completed, what's still ongoing, what we plan to get done. It's just, yeah, like it said, it's going to be it's work in progress. So it's the final plan probably won't, we're still working on what we're submitting now when we're up for review in 28, because we've got lots we plan to get done. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you for delivering the presentation, Gordy. Great job.
Sure.
Just opening up the floor for questions. And I guess just to follow up, the draft, I guess the document that you'll have the opportunity to read within hopefully short order is really built out from the presentation that Gordy just delivered. So those are still critical for priority areas. What the province wanted to see is a little bit more detail explaining how the potential action steps and some details about how we feel those priorities can play out. So the document hopefully we'll share. Right now my co-chair Matthew Higgins has gone through the document and certainly happy with things. The document really is just pulling together a lot of the information we've already discussed as a IDEA committee. We have been meeting weekly for quite some time. You'll see a lot on my report when it's circulated. Every second, third is IDEA committee meeting. So I just wanted to thank Gordy and thank our IDEA committee members, including Matthew Higgins. It is a lot of work. It's a heavy lift. We're not used to being behind the 8 ball on this. We were one of just a handful of municipalities who made the initial accessibility plan deadline, where a lot of municipalities did not meet that. We met that. So we had to pull up our socks.
So the province does have enforcement in place now as we move towards what used to be 2030, when they picked 2030 to make the province fully accessible. But they have hired enforcement agents, but it's more, at this point, it's more for guidance and support, really. And they have to pick a date to have stuff in, so they know people are working through it.
And just to give you a little indication of next steps, so we're hoping to have a couple of at least 1 or 2 more meetings to review our final draft document. So hopefully, by early next week, if not sooner, we'll have that circulated to council, so you can go through the more fulsome version of it. And hopefully, if there's no huge issues and it all looks well, and we will circle back to the province with the draft as well for some feedback. And we hope to bring it to our next public meeting for decision. Good questions?
Yeah, it's great work. It's great that we're striving in this direction. I just kind of got 2 thoughts, and the accessibility report card. I can see, we're gonna upgrades potentially for, I don't know, for accessibility, whatever that could be, So budget planning, that'll be something that'll be coming up next year, things we may not have thought of before. And on the TRC, or Truth and Reconciliation side, we had some correspondence back and forth, council and then ZAO on the TRC commissions and the municipalities, calls to actions for municipalities. And I'm sure that's been part of your focus.
It'll be an important document that we can use over the next 3 years. Absolutely,
I'm looking forward to achieving those calls to actions from Port Hawkesbury.
absolutely.
Good work.
Yeah, now I will add that we've had great support from past councils, administrative, our CAO and our CFO over the years, and our mayor sits as a co-chair on our committee, so. So look forward to moving stuff ahead.
Any questions on this side of the table?
No, good. Good.
You all?
I will make one more point and then we'll move on, just because my brain is still in idea plan mode. I was, as going through the process of, I guess, fleshing out a more fulsome plan, and just reflecting on some of the work that we've done for the town of Port Hawkesbury since 2017, we've actually been doing a significant amount of equity, diversity, and inclusion work without really realizing or having a label for that work. So one of the directions that under the research priority category will be to kind of capture all of the work that we've done. Obviously, it's very visible and apparent, all the work that we've done on the accessibility side of things. But we haven't really kind of acknowledged all that other work around diversity, inclusion, and equity. So I think part of the role of our IDEA committee will be to kind of capture all of that work that we've done since 2017, because I think that's it's a great foundation and work we should be celebrating. So I just wanted to mention that, but I think that the draft document is probably in and around 30 pages or so, but I'll get that out to you as soon as we possibly can. Thanks for your time, everyone. We'll move on. So we are going to bypass library funding that we deferred for another meeting. On the topic of the Point Tupper public property issue, so this was a agenda item that was discussed at our neighboring Richmond County Council table. Part of the discussion was around the parcels of property in Point Tupper owned by Invest Nova Scotia, and of course, I think that the issues that they're bringing up is very important. So my thoughts are that if Deputy Mayor Langley is interested in doing a little bit more research on that subject, and I guess just to give you the gist of the item as it was discussed at Richmond County Council table, we had our most recent infrastructure study that we partnered with Richmond County on from Wessie Group. That parcel of property was excluded in that study, and we've come to find out that it's also been excluded in other studies with regard to port infrastructure and port assets. So we're a little curious as to why that's being excluded. And anyway, if council is in agreement, I've already asked Deputy Mayor Langley if he would assist in doing some research with me so that we could come up with a response on behalf of the town of Port Hawkesbury, and we would bring it back to council for consideration. So, and whatever action steps may come out of that research, we certainly will bring it back to the council table if council is okay with that recommendation.
I agree.
Councilor Hart, you're okay with that? Oh, yes. Great, perfect. Yay, another project, Ian. We're excited. Okay, so we don't have any approved additions. And our future meetings are a public meeting of June 3rd and followed by committee of the whole on June 17th. And I would ask for a motion of adjournment.
Oh, then we adjourn.
Thank you. Do we have a second? All those in favor, please signify by saying yes.
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 Any Opposed? We are adjourned.